Welcome to Culture Wire. I'm your host, Meg Schiffler. Today we're headed to SF Camerawork, a premier venue for artists working in photography, video, and digital media. Their latest exhibition, Suggestions of a Life Being Lived, looks at queerness as a set of political alliances and possibilities that exist beyond the sphere of dominant gay and lesbian culture. Curator Adrienne Skye Roberts fills us in on the process of creating this expansive and thoughtful exhibition and what she'd really like you to take away from it.
I co-curated with Danny Orendorff, who's a Chicago-based writer and curator. The conceptual framework is what it means to be queer and what it means to be radical for our generation. Queerness as a set of political alliances and possibilities, not necessarily related to institutions of gender and sexual normativity. Danny and I wanted the show to feel funky and to have a really tangible quality to it. So part of that was incorporating, handmade objects and installations, as well as really beautifully printed photographs and videos. There's also a lot of opportunity to participate and to take postcards or to get the photo taken, or to sit within a tent made out of Afghan blankets to watch videos. The exhibition is organized in 3 distinct galleries. In Gallery 1, which is the gallery designated to queer activism, there's an installation by the Oakland-based collaboration Killer Banshee, and it's called Unleashed Power. It's all focused on one protest that happened in Chicago in 1991 with the activist organization ACT UP, which was protesting the inadequate health care for people living with AIDS. And specifically, it focuses on an act of police violence that occurred at that protest. The thing that is really interesting for me about that piece is that it brings us back 20 years to what queer activism looked like at the height of the AIDS crisis. Gallery 2 features work that is related to intentional communities that exist both within cities, also in rural spaces, and transient communities as well. The Return features a nomadic queer tribe. The people who join this tribe are often in various states of transition themselves, whether it's leaving behind previous gender assignments or corporate jobs or life within cities. A lot of the work featured in the exhibition and a lot of the installations are handmade objects. There's a lot of do-it-yourself aesthetic, and that handmade, do-it-yourself feeling is something that we think really mimics the idea and the reality of the alternative world making that we're trying to represent here as far as a self-sufficient community goes. Gallery 3 features work that relates to the ideas of self-determinism, alternative world making, and utopia. Visitors can still participate in this project. During the opening, he invited visitors to come and try on these costumes, pose in front of the backdrop. He was really inspired by comic books that he read as he was growing up and thinks about this space as a post-apocalyptic monster portrait gallery where people can remain genderless once they put on the costumes. Danny and I think it's important that this be happening in San Francisco, which is considered an epicenter of queer culture. The majority of queer cultural events happen during June, which has been designated as this Pride Month, which to me translates as a static period of time in which people can engage in queer arts and culture. And happening in September is sort of talking back to that and proving that this is something that's happening constantly all the time. What Danny and I hope visitors take away from this exhibition is to observe the diversity within the designation of queer in terms of race, in terms of gender presentation, and intergenerational perspective of what it means to be queer, as well as what it means to exist and be active and work in solidarity with people whose identities may or may not look like yours.